What's up, everyone? Aaron Nagler here for PackersNews.com, live on Facebook after the Packers pull out the victory in Chicago, 23-16, right there on Soldier Field. Heard from Mike McCarthy, heard from Brett Hundley, heard from the guys in the locker room. About time we hear from you folks. Your Packers, they finally won a game. It's been a while. Just wanted to jump on and see how you all doing. Callie starts us off with, "We got one!" It's like, Annie Potts and Ghostbusters. We got one! Will, injuries, yes. Both Aaron Jones and Ty Montgomery left the game, leaving them down to Jamal Williams and Aaron Ripkowski. There at the end, even Ripkowski, mostly. We'll see. You got to think Devontae Mays will be active, though, next week against the Ravens. You're going to shave? Alex, you better believe I'm going to shave, and my wife could not be happier. Any update on Aaron Jones' injury? No, Greg, they wouldn't give us anything. McCarthy was asked a couple times, and he wouldn't elaborate on anything. Didn't get to watch, but heard Nelson or Matthews didn't do much. I thought Matthews was actually pretty active. They moved him around a lot, and he affected the game. Nelson was pretty quiet, although I will say Jordy Nelson was actually a big asset in the run game. He had a couple big blocks, one in particular which sprung the touchdown run. So, just because he wasn't big time in the passing game doesn't mean he wasn't involved. Happy for the win, but still Hundley is lost. I tell you what, Hundley did look lost for the first three quarters, but maybe, just maybe, he found a little something there at the end. The touchdown throw to Adams and then the third down throw to Adams, those are two really big-time throws, especially that third down. That takes some stones to let that go. And we'll see. They come out in against the Ravens next week, and it may be business as usual, but you never know. You never know when that light switch is going to flip. And but I agree, he did look a little lost those first three quarters. Is it too early to call this a Christmas miracle? Since I was listening to a Christmas playlist this morning, no, I deem it not too early. Michael says, "Great win, go Pack go." Aaron Jones with a long-term injury. Taylor, we don't know. McCarthy wouldn't say anything. I'm sure we'll get a little bit better idea in the next day or two. Two huge throws, Michael, I agree. Frosty and Pack for the W. I don't know, anything is possible, I guess. Alex, yes, is Hundley hurt? Yes, he hurt his hamstring, which is why he appeared so slow on that play where he scrambled over to his left. As he said in the post-game press conference, I've never run that slow in my life. So, yes, that's something to monitor throughout the week. Finally, a game to build on, says Steve. I would agree. 5 more wins and we are playoff bound. Well, you never know. Lots got to fall. It's 1 week at a time, and next week is the Ravens. Ravens defense is so good. Yes, I would agree. Although I will say normally the Bears defense is pretty good too. Although they were without Danny Trevathan today, and that definitely showed up. Great defense today. Everybody, my wife is here. Hi, Carolyn Nagler. How are you? You didn't know I got a little alerts when people I follow on Facebook join the chat, did you? Hi, honey. Guess what? I get to shave now because the Packers won. So that's a good thing. Can we expect a Hundley, we can run the table? Oh, man, not in a million years. I'll often say it. Did you all create the Mike McCarthy imploding pool yet? No, not yet, especially not after a victory. Game came down to the Bears' challenge and the 2 huge throws. That challenge was hilarious. I mean, if nothing else, it was worth it just for the look on John Fox's face when Tony Correnti was sitting down saying it. Oh my goodness, that's just crazy. Williams looked good. Yes, I agree. I thought he ran with power. He ran behind his pads and got, lowest man wins, and oftentimes he was the winner. He ground out some really tough yards there in the fourth quarter when they desperately needed him to. That's probably that is the best he has looked in a Packers uniform. Absolutely not, no question about it. No shaving. Oh no. My Packers, whether they win or lose, well, of course, Sherry. We will beat the Ravens, and Aaron Rodgers will take a break from we'll break the internet. I don't know about all that. Did Caper save his job? Michael, I don't think so, not yet. You got to look over the balance of the second half of the season, start talking about that kind of thing. I mean, it's one thing, to do it against the Drew Breeses and Matt Staffords of the world, but a rookie quarterback on his second or third start with a really pedestrian set of wide receivers, that's not something you can hang your hat on. I missed what happened to Montgomery. Dusty, he hurt his ribs. Will McCarthy start trusting Hundley a little bit more? It's possible. Williams a less chubby Eddie Lacy. That's one scouting report I haven't heard. Tell Hundley to cut down on the gum chewing. Tony, we talked about this week, and he said it's getting worse and worse. Perry did great. Greg, he was absolutely dominant early on. I thought they started kind of sliding protection his way, chipping him with the back, tight ends, etc., because he was such a problem for them. But yeah, I agree. I thought Perry had a really nice game. Brett Hundley can chew gum and throw touchdowns at the same time. Well played. Gary, always the positive force here. It's only the Bears, and Rodgers isn't coming back. So there. That's from Gary. Do you think the Packers will look at other options? Possible. Live stream when you shave the beard. I will. That's a good idea. It's a W. Exactly. That's all that matters. Doesn't no style points. There's only 16 games. The more W's you get, the better. Let's see. Who cares if Hundley chews gum? Only people over 60. Davis, I tend to agree. I just think it's weird. I just worry about him biting his tongue off while he's running away from a sack or something. But if it works for him, heck, it doesn't matter. Demarius wasn't bad today either, says Julian. I thought he was up and down. He gave up a few plays. He had one really horrible tackle attempt, but I also thought he played well again in the running game. And I thought for the most part, he was sticking to his receivers. So, I mean, up and down, but yeah, overall another decent performance. You wish the Packers were the Browns. That's an interesting take, Josh. Flying out of ORD, you bet, Matt. Tomorrow morning, bright and early. That third down one-hander by Adams was great. I hope we keep him. Yeah, well, plays like that are going to make it harder and harder. It's going to be more and more expensive. There's no doubt about it. Is King injury serious? They didn't say. We didn't get any updates. McCarthy wouldn't say it. Doesn't sound like it, but we never really know until we get back to Green Bay and get the lay of the land tomorrow. And your poor girls were looking forward to a real-life Santa Claus this Christmas. Hey, it's always time for another losing streak to take hold. You never know. Can't someone coach him up, climb the pocket? It works in Madden and in real life. They always hate it when you compare stuff to Madden, but Madden is semi-realistic in places, and that's one of them. I agree. It's his Hundley's continual desire to flee pockets he has no business leaving is problematic. There's no doubt about that. Is Capers finished after this season? I would suspect so, John, but you never know. It's Mike McCarthy. He has loyalty, and if Capers can cobble together some successful defensive efforts, maybe he staves it off. But I would tend to doubt it. Think we'll trust more deep throws? Possibly, Walter. It's not a question of calling and more deep throws, so to speak. It's a question of what the defense is giving you, and they're playing a lot of too high because they figured they could probably stop the run with just their front seven. And when they drop that safety down in a third and short situation, like McCarthy said after the game, they had been squatting on Adams for much of the afternoon. They talked about it on the sideline, and they thought they could make a play up that sideline, and they did. So, I don't think it's ever going to be bombs away with Hundley, but you can definitely build on it. It's definitely going to give them some confidence, definitely something they can build on. Would you rather have Hundley or Trubisky? Oh, Connor, Trubisky. I think he's a better athlete and a much better thrower. It's time to give Callahan a look. I tell you what, I may have agreed with that had the fourth quarter gone the way the first three quarters had for Hundley. But given those two big throws, I don't think anything's going to change anytime soon. When will we know if the Steelers game gets flexed, if it happens? They have to announce it 12 days prior to kickoff. So circle your calendar. I tend to doubt that it gets flexed. The only game that's really attractive on that weekend would be for them to flex in there would probably be the Saints-Rams game, and I can't see Fox giving that up. So I think it's a real outside chance that it happens. Still not enough third down conversions. We need to score. I thought they were better on third down early on. Kind of fell apart on them in the second half, but I thought early on in the game, I thought they did a good job. And, McCarthy said they were going to work on third downs all throughout the week. They did. They're good. Hello. I'm in someone's suite, y'all, so they're about to kick me out. Was the Bears O-line that bad, or did we play that much better? I think they played better. I think the offensive line, Chicago's offensive line, is not terrible. I know Josh Sitton was in and out this afternoon with an injury. What a surprise! I know anybody's not surprised by that. But so now Jones and Montgomery are hurt. Who's left? Eddie Lee Ivory. Well, you got to think Devontae Mays will be up next week. No doubt about that. Let Hundley throw the ball downfield, stop playing conservative, in all caps, says the young man. Well, they did, and they won the game. I don't know why you're yelling. Hundley is hurt. Yes, Virginia, he hurt his hamstring, but he told us after the game that it was no big deal and he'll be fine. That's what he says now. Let's see what happens throughout the week. Jones and Montgomery going to miss time. I couldn't presume to tell you. I will say the way they declared Jones out pretty quickly tells you that's probably somewhat significant. And we saw Ty Montgomery leaving the locker room after the game, and a bunch of us kind of went after him. Rob Demoski specifically asked, "Did you break your ribs again?" And Ty Montgomery looked at us like we had 3 heads. So it doesn't, there's no word yet, but it doesn't sound good. That doesn't bode well, so to speak. The Vikings look annoyingly good. They do, Craig. They've got a really good defense, and they're playing smart, efficient offense, and that's a combination for victory. So, yeah, I'll tell you what, they look like the real deal right now. The defense is still a sore spot. I couldn't agree more. How serious is the injury to Aaron Jones? Kathy, we were just talking about it. There's no word yet, but initial kind of look, it doesn't look great. Feels like they want to work in more play action passing. Joe McCarthy mentioned that specifically. They had to get out of some of it because they lost so many backs so quickly, and they had to kind of adjust on the fly. But it was definitely something they thought they could take advantage of today. Great job, Brett. He's only going to get better. Brooks, I would agree. I mean, you've seen improvement week by week. The problem is it's so incremental and so small. You do wonder, how long you'd be waiting for this kid. But those are some big plays that he made in the fourth quarter, and you cannot discount what kind of confidence that might give him going forward, how it might help the switch get flipped, so to speak. You never know in the NFL. It can happen on a dime. We've seen it time and time again. So, I'm not ready to say he's arrived or anything, but it was definitely a positive step forward there in the fourth quarter. The Vikings are the real deal. Green Bay will be crushed by them. Dennis, that's called recency bias, and I would chill on that, because by the time they face the Packers, both of those teams are going to look very different. I guarantee it. The Wildcat package with Cobb was a disaster. Jim, I would tend to agree. I don't know what they thought they were doing. Who stood out for you today personally? Oh, I thought Jory Evans, it looked like he missed a blitz pickup, but outside of that, I thought he looked really good. He's been an incredible find by Thompson. The free agent that doesn't get talked about a whole lot. Crazy how that bit of pass rush changes the total vibe. I agree, although it was funny. They had 2 sacks today that were both completely on the secondary. I mean, they were 2 coverage sacks where Trubisky just had nowhere to go with the football. And yeah, the Daniels and Perry and those guys came to clean up, but that's big time for a secondary that's been much maligned. How well did Mike Daniels play today? Kyle, I thought this was probably his best game since week 1. He was incredibly active. He offered something in the pass rush. He played well against the run. Took on double teams. I thought he was all over the place. I thought he had a really good game. Having spotted cow, not yet, Keith. I'm working my way towards it though. Good part of the schedule coming up, right? You want to say yes, but it's a week-to-week league. You never know, game in and game out, how teams are going to play, how they're going to match up. It's favorable outside of that Steelers game, no doubt. Although the Steelers came out so completely, discombobulated out of their bye week against the Colts today. So you never know. But that's kind of my point. But it looks favorable, but you got to take it week by week. You never really know. Bennett out a team again? It's a good question, Stefan. Pete and I were wondering before the game if they would kind of rally around, the attack on Dr. McKenzie. I mean, none of the guys really talked about it that I heard. All my other colleagues are in the locker room as we speak, so they may be saying more, but it didn't sound like that was a vocal kind of rallying cry, but you do wonder if maybe that brought them a little bit, a little together. Receivers helped Hundley out today. Peter, I would agree. I thought it was interesting how it was clearly obvious the game plan was flowing around the receivers, from getting the ball in Cobb's hands as many different ways as they could, hitting Adams on a variety of different plays on the perimeter, just not necessarily trying to go downfield with the guys, but getting the ball in their hands and letting them make things happen. You could definitely tell something was up with Hundley on that first down scramble. Yeah, absolutely. His hamstring is definitely bothering him. Did Geronimo Allison join the witness protection program? No, but I just don't think he's going to get as many opportunities without Aaron Rodgers in there. They're not going to go as many 4 and 5 wide receiver sets with Hundley out there. Although I will say Hundley looks a little bit better when he's got more options. So maybe that's something to look at down the road. Good chance we can go 10-6. Whew. Funny how the narrative changes around this team with a victory. I would just caution slow down there a little bit, and let's see if they can beat the Ravens. Taylor, stud, Matt, I agree. Man, on the touchdown run, he sealed that thing like it was going out of style. That was an outstanding block. There were a bunch of great blocks on that play, but that was the one I really liked. As a teacher in Chicago, so thankful for this win. Joe's going to have some subdued students tomorrow? Oh, I guess, or do your students know you're a Packers fan? Oh, my goodness. Oh, God, well, you can just come into work, kick open the door, and say, what's up tomorrow? That's good living right there. Do we know when the roster spot will be filled? Well, you got to think they'll put Bulaga on IR this week, and Spriggs will take his place when he's activated. As far as the other one, no idea. This is what happens with Thompson from time to time. He's done it so many times throughout the years where he just lets the roster spot sit there for weeks on end. I've asked guys in his personnel group, like all of them almost, every single one of them, I've asked, why does Ted do that? Every one of them says, I have no idea. It's a Ted Thompson thing. All right, everyone. Thanks a lot. I'm going to head out, go PackersNews.com, check it all out. Sorry if I didn't get to your question, but we'll have all the latest from the game. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.